Alright, so I promised people I would do my VGS picks since me and Jake aren't doing the podcast anymore, but a lot of people have been asking me. It was easier just to do it, break it down like I do in the like I did with the podcast. I cut some of the categories because they didn't really make as much sense without me and Jake discussing it back and forth. Jake didn't play a lot this year. I mean, he played some stuff. It's kind of weird. I did have him put down a list of like, hey, tell me some stuff you played. It's mostly Jake did this thing where he's like, I'm going to go back and play all the old Final Fantasy games that I either didn't play or haven't played in a while and see what I think of them. I'm going to play a bunch of old RPGs on PSN and stuff, and that's a majority of what he played this year. And I mean, I might as well start with that. A few of the new games he played. He did play XCOM. I know that Jake's a big strategy, tactics type game person, and I had recommended that to him. He fucking dug it. He loved it. He said it's the best. I had him play The Walking Dead. He really liked that as well. I won't go any further into that because I'm going to be talking about that later as well. I'll just read off exactly what he said. FF12, good. FF8, still sucks. Parasite Eve, not bad. Rainbow Moon, pretty good. Rainbow Moon is a strategy tactics game on the PS3. It's long as fuck. He said his most surprising was the fact that Mass Effect 3's multiplayer was so good. He didn't play a ton of it himself, but I know that I played a shitload of it. I'm always talking to him about it, so I think it was a little combination of both. FF7, good. Vandal Hearts, Flame of Judgment, terrible. And Hero Academy, actually it's an iPhone game. Where are my headphones? I look like a fucking clown. Sorry, very unprofessional. What am I going to start doing next? That thing where I'm like talking, and it's a cut of me talking again. No, I'm talking to myself. I'm talking to myself some more. And then Hero Academy. Yeah, Jake dug the fuck out of Hero Academy. He's been playing a lot of it. Jake plays iPhone games. I don't want to be that guy, but I shit on iPhone games. Even the best ones, they're good for like 5 seconds, and I don't know. I can't get behind them. For a second, when I got my iPhone at first, I was like, okay, mobile games can be all right. It didn't last long. I don't know. I can't do it. I don't know. So, couple things to say when I'm going into this. A couple games I did not play this year that probably people are going to be asking about. Well, I guess not a couple. I didn't play XCOM. I didn't get a chance. Everybody I know liked it. I personally didn't like Dishonored. A lot of people dug that game. I like hearing people talk about it, but I personally, Far Cry 3 does all the stuff I think Dishonored was trying to do, but I like how Far Cry 3 did it. And so to me, it's like Far Cry 3 is kind of a better Dishonored. So what else? I'm trying to think if there's anything goofy that I didn't play any of the big titles. I can't remember right now. I'm sure there was a couple big titles I didn't play. I Black Ops 2. I mean, I heard the campaign was cool. I'll probably try it. I didn't play it. So I cut down system. It's so late in the cycle. System of the year doesn't make any sense. There were barely any exclusives this year as it is. I played probably a lot of my 360 because of how much multiplayer in Mass Effect 3 I played. I played my Vita a lot, oddly enough, even though it was only a couple of games just because... Oh, Persona 4 Golden. Right up off the bat, I love that game. I'm really digging it, but I don't feel like I'm far enough in it to put it on my top 10 list. I just feel weird. So that didn't make my top 10 list, but if I was being... I don't know, I shouldn't be so professional. I was just a fucking dumb clown on a webcam talking to like 12 people, but I didn't feel comfortable putting it on my list just yet. Probably would have made my list. I really liked it, but that did not make it because of that reason. But yeah, I cut the system. I don't know. It seemed weird without me and Jake going back and forth, given our experiences. It just seemed like a strange thing. I played my PC a lot more this year because of Diablo 3, a lot of League of Legends at the beginning of the year, and Star Wars: The Old Republic. So a lot more PC than normal. I didn't play almost... I mean, there weren't really a lot of exclusives. I can run down my list. PS All Stars was exclusive. I liked that. Jesus Christ, yeah. Starhawk, that was an exclusive. Thought that was okay. Yeah, no, really? I don't think I played any major exclusives at all, so it's kind of hard for the console games to make a big impact on me at all, as far as like system. And then, I mean, the Vita is so fucking sick. It's such a cool handheld, and it really sucks that no games are being made for it because it's a nice ass piece of hardware. I really, really like it. It's a shame because every time I get to play a game on it, I have a lot of fun. So it's a shame I didn't get to. So I guess best company. This is another weird one without Jake to discuss back and forth, but I did say that probably Gearbox and BioWare. BioWare for a weird reason. I thought Mass Effect 3 was okay. It felt like it took a lot of weird steps backward from Mass Effect 2. Obviously, the combat was way better. It's part of the reason I thought the multiplayer was fucking amazing. I think if I look at my Raptor, I've put more hours into Mass Effect 3 than almost probably 10 or 15 other titles combined because of how much that fucking multiplayer I played. I loved it. I love the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. I still play it to this day. I was playing it yesterday. They continue to update it. I think it's vastly superior to the single player in play style, in balancing, in the abilities. Like the abilities they give you in multiplayer almost make the abilities in single player seem fucking shitty, like and useless and boring and uninspired. I heard a rumor that the next Mass Effect game is going to be made by the multiplayer guys, so that's good. That's good to me. I'm 100% on board with that. So for that reason, BioWare did a good job of giving me more replay out of a Mass Effect game than I've ever had. I vastly prefer the multiplayer over the single player. And I thought that was cool. And then Gearbox, I mean, Borderlands 2 was fucking rad. It was a good game. And a lot of people complained that it was too much of the same. I thought they changed just enough without having like a weird full-on, like, it was a 2-year turnaround. What do you expect? Like, what are they going to do, reinvent the series? Like, give them a new console and then they can kind of add a bunch of new shit. I feel like that's what they did. They did kind of a Left 4 Dead 2 type sequel. I feel like it was excellent. I loved Borderlands 2, and so Gearbox did a great job. There weren't really any companies that jumped out as obvious, like, oh, these guys are the best. Oh, and so I kind of just went with two things that just right off the top of my head, like, oh yeah, I really like those, so I went with those. Worst company, it's always Capcom. They're so shitty. It's odd, actually. It's a little ironic because I think 2 days ago they released Mega Man X Street Fighter, which is actually a really cool thing to do. It's very un-Capcom-like to release a game that's not only cool but free. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe you see a cheaper paid version on consoles. I would be 100% down to pay like $5 for that and get to play it on 360 or PS3. I think that's pretty sweet. So yeah, but they're the worst. Everything they do is bad. They don't do anything good. They have decent games, decent to good games, and they're an awful company. And everything, the way they handle everything is awful. They're not good. They're not good people. Let's see. I kept best multiplayer game. I've already talked about. I mean, I'm not going to go super into all this stuff. I don't want to run it down. Just go, here's my things. This. But I went with Mass Effect 3, Borderlands 2, and Diablo 3. I feel like Diablo 3 got a weird, like, fan backlash after it had been released for a while. I don't know why. I'm not the kind of guy who digs into like all the small, like, minute. Like, I'd see people on Facebook all the time like, oh, they nerfed this. Oh, the cooldown is 0.6 seconds different. Blah. It's like, get fucked. Like, is that how you play that fucking game? Settle down. Like, it's fine. It's a great game. Battle.net was excellent. Playing with friends couldn't have been easier. It made hey, spoiler alert, Torchlight 2 didn't make my list. Torchlight 2 was fucking bum out. I know it's the unpopular opinion, but if I would have played Torchlight 2 before Diablo 3, I think it would have been a much different experience for me. But going into that game after playing Diablo 3, I don't know. I think the way the decisions Diablo made for that type of game were better. They handled everything better, in my opinion. And a lot of, I don't know, I feel like all the stat junkies and like back end people like kind of they resented Diablo 3 for dumb little things that I was just playing a game. I was playing a game with my friends. It was fun. So I don't know. I thought it was great. I thought Borderlands 2 was amazing multiplayer. Oddly enough, I actually played that game a lot single player too, which I didn't do the first one with. I thought the first one was one of those games where I just kind of had to play with a friend or else it wasn't fun. This game is a lot more fun to play alone, but the multiplayer is still really solid. And then Mass Effect 3, hands down, the best multiplayer. Arguably one of the best multiplayer modes I've ever played in a game, but it is so fucking good. They've supported it. They've added tons of new stuff. Like I said, the stuff they put in the multiplayer makes the single player stuff seem, I don't know, lazy and uninspired. Like, that's how good the multiplayer was. So if you haven't played the multiplayer, like if you're one of those people that like, oh, it's just horde mode, or I don't know, maybe you just never gave it a shot because you didn't think it was your cup of tea, dude, it's fucking sick. And I could play that till the day I die. It's really, really fun. Best downloadable. Kind of a weak year for downloadables in the same way that it was weak year for exclusives. I don't know. I didn't really get much downloadable stuff. Summer of Arcade was a fucking bust. It was just bad. I think some of my disappointments were, no, it didn't. I thought Tony Hawk HD was a pile of shit. Either you take a game and you update it, like full on, or you take an old game and you make it look pretty and it plays exactly how it played. You don't make little tweaks here and there, because for someone who plays as much Tony Hawk as I did, I instantly noticed all the tiny little differences, and it didn't play the same, and it fucking bummed me out. If they would have just put a nice coat of paint on that, I think that could have been cool. But I don't know, they changed. Like I said, you either remake a game completely, like throw in all the bells and whistles that came later on, or give it true updates, or just make it look pretty and play the exact same. I don't like that middle of the road where you tweak a couple things and then you don't know what you're playing anymore. And I don't know. I thought that was shitty. I thought that I think it was called Deadlight. Deadlight sucked dick. That was a boring trash game. I didn't play. It was made by the guys that did Scribblenauts. I can't remember what it's called. I didn't play that, but it was multiplayer only, and it just came out at a time where there was other games. I was like, I don't know. I don't have a place in my life right now for a multiplayer only Xbox Live Arcade title, unless it's like a Monday Night Combat levels of good, and it didn't feel like it was. I know there was another game that came out on Xbox Live Arcade, Summer of Arcade. What the fuck was it? Was it Fez, or was Fez right before that? I don't remember, but I mean, the only good game in the Xbox Live Arcade, Summer of Arcade, was Dust, and Dust was fucking sick. So I went ahead and I just gave Dust my best downloadable. Where was I? Best downloadables, yeah. So Dust, and then Super Stardust Delta. It was a launch downloadable title for the Vita. It's kind of just an upgrade of the old Super Stardust HD, but for the Vita and with a bunch of shit like that. It was awesome. It was just, those games are good. They're good twin stick games. They're more arcadey, but they feel like they are not ripoffs of Geometry Wars, which is hard because so many twin sticks are a ripoff of something, and it kind of does a good job of holding its own. And then Walking Dead. Holy fuck, don't even get me started on Walking Dead. I know that there's been a lot of buzz. That game kind of caught on. People realized it was good, especially after the 5th episode, everything had wrapped up. I'd kind of been on board from the beginning. Telltale has an interesting track record because Back to the Future was okay. It was an okay game. And I could see they did a lot of cool stuff to try and make adventure games relevant again. Jurassic Park, I really liked, actually, until the very end. I felt like the shit they did with some of the main characters just becoming evil out of nowhere, fucking, I don't know, it was dumb. I didn't like it. And it ran like trash. Like, there were parts of that game that were barely playable because of how hitchy and shitty it was. And this wasn't even downloadable. I was running the disc version. But there was a good game buried within the framework and the hitches and the really weird heel turn at the end of that game. But I feel like Walking Dead was everything they learned from Back to the Future and Jurassic Park coming together perfectly. And like, the game, like, hey, the game made me cry. I cried at the end of that game. It was a fucking, it's a hell of a game. It's anyone, like, there's still some weird, not great gamey elements, a couple weird, trying to make you shoot stuff, trying to, like, I don't know, trying to not just be an adventure game that don't work excellent, but for the most part, kind of gives you a heavy rain light type deal. A lot of people keep saying it's like an interactive narrative. I'd say it's a little more than that, but it does a good job of giving you choices and making you think your choices make more of an impact than they do, but also not cheapening your choices where you feel like they didn't make any difference at all. Great game, though. I think you can buy the retail version at this point, or you can just get all the episodes, $5 each. It's a fucking steal. They're a great game. So those are my downloadables. Biggest disappointments. First one I already mentioned was Dishonored. I get why people like that game. It is a well-made game. But what I don't like, it's the same thing I didn't like about Mark of the Ninja. I don't like when games tell you, like, hey, we're going to let you, like, have options and combat abilities and the ability to do stuff, but then we're going to tell you don't do that, and we're going to make the game like shit all over you and constantly like oh, tisk, you played this way. I don't like that. Either give me combat abilities and let me fucking do them, or don't. Like, there's no reason for you to tease me. Don't tease me and thinking like, oh, here's all this stuff, but you shouldn't use it. Like, if I want to play a stealth game, then fucking make a stealth game and I'll play it. Don't, like, Mark of the Ninja, like, everyone praised that game, so I just downloaded it right off the bat, like, after playing the demo, and the demo was cool, but the more I played that game, the less I liked of it. And it's because, I don't know, there's options in that game that make it feel like there should be, that there's the ability to do combat stuff. Now, here's the thing, if you took all that out, it would be the same game. You just wouldn't be teasing me with the ability to, you tell me, hey, this is a stealth game. All you can do is sneak. If you get caught, you're fucked. Because in that game, you have the ability to like fight guys and do stuff and have weird like combat abilities that really, they're detrimental to the game actually, because you're not supposed, like, essentially the game is saying like, sneak through the game. You're supposed to sneak through the game. But that's after them going, no, you can do however you want. Handle situations best you want. You want to fight? You want to sneak? Do a little both? No, but really, just sneak. Honestly, you kind of have to sneak. And Dishonored did the same thing. Like, it basically just was like, hey, don't kill anyone. Because if you do, the world's going to get fucked up, and you're going to get the bad ending, and everyone's going to hate you, and you're going to be doing it wrong. And it was like, whoa. Okay. And then you get into situations where it's like, it's kind of like really making you go, huh? You have to be stealthy. Sorry. I mean, it'd be really easy to shoot that guy. In fact, here's a gun. But you can't shoot anyone with it. But it kills people real fast. It's really easy. And this room would be a lot easier if you did it, but don't do it. Don't do that. And it's like, fuck you. I wanted to like that game. I bet if I gave it another shot and just said, fuck you, I'm going to kill everyone I want. I don't care how bad you make me feel. I'd probably have fun, but I don't know. It rubbed me the wrong way. And I feel like it's a bad way to design a video game. Either give me the two options and make both of them plausible, or don't give me the option. Don't give me both and then shit all over me when I decide to do it one way or the other. Resident Evil 6 is a pile of dog shit. And a baby dyer, like, it's like a, you know when you get in the shower, it's like, it's just, okay, I get in the shower, I'm like, oh, I'm so dirty, I need to take a shower. Oh, okay, turn on the hot water, turn on the shower, oh, it's baby diarrhea. Oh, it's not even water. Oh, it's just a baby sitting there spraying diarrhea at me. That would be way doper if that happened than if I had to play Resident Evil 6 again. That game was such trash, the shittiest game in the world. And that's coming from someone who loved and defended the shit out of Resident Evil 5. Like, Resident Evil 6 was dog shit. It was trash. It was wet, hot, gross, just slimy trash. It was awful. I hated every second I spent with it, and I could not have sent that game back to GameFly sooner. And the fact that I know people that liked it, and the fact that I know people that finished it, blows me away. Like, I will go so far as to say those people are wrong. Like, I know that everyone has their opinion, but no, you guys, if you like Resident Evil 6, you're wrong. I'm right and you're wrong. You can like it, but you're wrong for liking it. SSX, bum me out. That game, I've been clamoring for a true SSX game for a long time because they made shitty SSX, I think it was called, I think it was just straight up 4, like, I think it had a dumb subtitle, like, out of Nah, Out of Bounds was the good one. I don't remember. It was shitty though. They had added skiers and it didn't play right and it wasn't fun. And then there was Blur, I think, SSX Blur, which is on the Wii, which sucked dick for like ever. SSX 3 is one of the best games ever made. Everything it does is perfect. And it really looked like they were trying to go back to make that game. They were making a next-gen version of SSX 3. And in a way, they sort of did, but the game got sort of diluted in... Imagine if in Tony Hawk, like, manuals were auto-balanced, and you could... Like, you never had to adjust them, and you could do them forever. A big, long string of tricks wouldn't be satisfying. And SSX sort of did that, where, first off, those games are made to be played on a PlayStation 3 controller. Straight up. That was why they were invented. They play better on a straight-up old-school PS3, 4 shoulder buttons, 2 analog sticks, you're good. With the new generation of controllers, you can't do that anymore. And so they tried to adjust the control scheme. They let you play around with it, but I never found a way that I truly felt like worked. They just made some straight-up changes. The way that nose and tail presses work, which is kind of the SSX equivalent of a manual, don't work the same way. The way you cut and carve doesn't feel the same way. And the way you do tricks doesn't feel the same way because you're not doing combos the way you used to. But then also, I feel like you can just... Like, tricks you were doing at the very end, like when you statted yourself up like out of control in SSX 3, you're just doing right off the bat. You can do them at the very beginning of SSX, the new one. It cheapened it because you didn't feel, I don't know, I just felt like that stuff's cool when you wait for that big giant jump to throw the crazy fucking thing you were trying to hold, and it's just like, and then like this is gonna sound super, this is super insane. I loved SSX, so I'm gonna have weird nitpicky problems. In SSX, you always have this thing where you wind up. You wind up backwards, forwards, and angle to throw your trick faster and smoother. In this, you can steer while you're doing that, and that kind of fucks up the flow of the game in that, like, you had the ability to just almost set yourself on autopilot. If you're going nice and straight, you start your twist, and then you know you're not letting go of that till you let go of jump. In this, you can kind of steer, and so trying to throw anything that had a left or a right, you found yourself going up to the edges and then kind of going off to the side at the last second because you're trying to throw a trick, and this probably isn't going to make sense to anyone, but it fucked with me, and it did not make the game fun to play. And there were too many changes, and I felt like their heart was in the right place with that game. I don't know if they could have made a better game than that, because it would be hard to go back and make a sequel to SSX 3 that lived up and was right. I feel like they tried, and it was about as good an attempt as I guess I could ask for. It just I didn't feel it, and so it was a big bum out. And this is gonna sound dumb too. This is my fourth one, the Amazing Spider-Man game. When they announced this, they said they had a team working on it for a while. And they'd been working on this game just for the movie. It was supposed to kind of be like back in the day when Spider-Man 2 came out, and it may have been a game based on a movie, but it was excellent. They were going back to open world, and this and that and the other thing. This game, I don't know, it sucked, I guess. It didn't suck, but it wasn't good. The open world felt more tacked on than the open world in LA Noire, and anyone who played that game knows how fucking tacked on. That game has the option to ignore their open world. Like, just push a button and it doesn't exist. That's how tacked on LA Noire's was. And this feels more tacked on than that. They threw out everything that they had created and made for the other games to basically make a ripoff of Batman, Arkham Asylum, and Arkham City's combat, but worse. It wasn't good. It didn't feel like a good game. They promised that this is a harkening back to the open world roots, and that they were doing something cool, and it wasn't cool. So those are my biggest disappointments. I would say my biggest surprises, Walking Dead, only in that I knew, like I kind of mentioned earlier, that like Back to the Future and Jurassic Park were both steps in the right direction, but with some weaknesses. I kind of felt like Walking Dead was going to do the same thing. They were going to do a couple things right, and they were still going to have some problems. But they did about as perfect as a full package as you can ask for. They really took everything they had learned from those other games and made it great. So it was surprising in that I liked it as much as I did. And then two games that I wish more people will talk about on their lists or bring up, but I don't know if they will. Sleeping Dogs, open world game. This was back in the day. This was going to be True Crime Hong Kong, and then it got scrapped and then rebought and then made into this. Fucking one of the best open world games I've ever played. Straight up, it was better. It was. I know a lot of people loved Saints Row 3. This game kind of took the same approach, except with less silliness. And that Saints Row 3 said, let's make an open world game and get rid of all the bullshit that doesn't make them fun, and just have the stuff that does make them fun. And this game did that, but with a slightly more realistic approach. And they ripped off Batman's combat system, but in a good way, because there's not a lot of guns in this game. So when you get a gun, it's like crazy. But a lot of the game is melee and driving around and stuff. I don't know, it worked really good. It was a really fucking good game. And so that was a big surprise. I mean, I expected that it would be fine, but I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. And then probably my most surprising was Binary Domain. This was kind of Japan's answer to Mass Effect, I guess you could say. Like, it's a third-person shooter, lots of decisions, lots of branching storylines. You don't straight up make a character, but like, kind of had a lot of the same type stuff in it. Like, it felt like a Japanese Mass Effect, just straight up. And I really, really liked it. I thought it was a great game. They did a good job with your choices, because I still, to this day, I could probably look it up. I don't know how in control I was with my choices. I felt like I was making all these choices, but if I was, then what they did was crazy in making me feel like, oh, dude, like this is how the story was going to be no matter what. Like, and when a story lets you make choices and it still reacts really well to them, that's great. Or it did what Walking Dead did, and it hid the fact that my choices didn't mean a lot, but made me feel like they did, and that still was like, it did a good job. That's a game that people should play. The beginning's a little slow. They try to shoe in all these voice commands, which sort of slow things down. And before you get some of your upgrades, you can feel a little weird, because a lot of the enemies, when you're blowing them up, it's pretty dope. It's like old like LA Guns style, like you're blowing the shit out of robots, tons of pieces popping off, but like new school. Blowing them to shit. It's really, really fun, really arcadey feeling at points. Very hard, actually. It's like, if you're not in cover in some of these spots, like, dude, this game will fuck you up. Like, it doesn't mind that, but like in a fun way. But it's a really, really good game. It's worth looking into if you kind of overlooked it or ever even heard of it. Anticipated in what I saw, I didn't really, I don't know, I guess I could pull up my GameFly queue and use that as anticipated. What I wish I saw, I guess, was kind of what I brought up. More exclusives. There were not very many exclusives at all this year. I really wish I saw more Vita games, or some people deciding to like support the Vita, because the weird thing is, right now it's so empty that I feel like if a couple people made good games, it's kind of like the end of the PSP, where people were pirating the shit out of that, but at the same time you saw some developers make some really cool games because they knew that more people are going to have their eyes on them, because everyone had sort of jumped ship. I feel like if a couple people made a couple dope games, you'd get a pretty big audience, and that's all it really needs. Someone besides Sony needs to step up and make some games for the scene. It's really good. So I guess my GameFly queue, Dead Space 3, obviously I'm looking forward to. Devil May Cry, the reboot, looks really good. It's being handled by the guys that did Enslaved. I think that's going to be pretty dope. Anarchy Reigns is coming out. It's a new Platinum game. I don't know a ton about it outside of what it is, but I'm excited for it. Obviously, speaking of Platinum, Metal Gear Rising Revengeance. Dude, it's just, you're mixing everything Platinum does well, and having it take place in the Metal Gear universe. It's like, yeah, I'll play the shit out of that game. The new Aliens game looks pretty dope. The one being made by Gearbox. Tomb Raider looks really good. BioShock Infinite looks pretty sick. Fuse looks pretty sick. I'm hearing a lot of good stuff about Lost Planet 3. 2 really bummed me out, and it seems like 3 is trying to... It's like them going, yeah, we get it. Like, we're going to try and make a better game. I'm going to give it a shot. People keep talking highly of it, so I want to like that game. South Park game, obviously. Obsidian, I really like Obsidian. Me and Jake have always referred to them. They make the best bad games, and they're a good developer. I like them. I'm glad that they haven't ever gotten caught up so bad that they just disappear, because it would be a shame if Obsidian disappeared. I guess that's really the big ones I can say, like in coming out. Oh, BioShock Infinite, obviously. I might have even said that. Those are the big ones, the soon ones. But yeah, I'd say what I wish I saw was exclusives. better downloadable titles and games for the Vita. Missed opportunity. I already talked about SSX. A lot of the same reasons. It could have been great. Again, I'm sure they did about as good of a sequel as they can get, but it wasn't. I liked the game too much. That's probably my problem. If I liked SSX games less, I probably would have liked this new one more. Darksiders 2. I was a fucking big-ass fan of Darksiders 1. And I get that the reason I didn't like this game is because when they made Darksiders, they wanted to make a different game. But they had to prove they could make a game that people liked first, and so they made a different game. And I liked that game. Then they're like, okay, THQ's like, go ahead and do whatever you want. Well, like, your game did well. And the game they wanted to make is what Darksiders 2 was, and I didn't like it. It was a well-made game. You could tell that they put a lot of thought into a lot of stuff. There were some cool things, but it wasn't the first Darksiders. It was way too different. It was weird, open world, and it didn't seem like the story picked up from the last one, which I actually really liked a lot of the story elements, and it just, I don't know. The more I played that game, the more I was like, I don't want to play this. I don't care about this game. And until I was just like, well, I'm done with this game, and it sucks because I was really excited for that game. And then Paper Mario Sticker Star, some shit like that. I love Paper Mario games, and the fact that they were putting one on the 3DS I was really psyched for. And they simplified this game to the point of ruining it. It's just, there's no other way to say it. At first I was a little on board. I liked the balance of simplification, but the more I played, the more I was just like, this is barely even a game. And it just, I don't know, I just stopped having any interest in it, and I could have, like, they should have just made, like, a game just like Thousand Year Door. I get that you can't, like, as a game developer, you're not supposed to do it. You can't just, like, go, yeah, well, we made that, we'll make that again. I get that, but at the same time, that's what I want. I kind of want, that's all I wanted out of this game, and I didn't get that, and it was just, I didn't feel it. Biggest flop, clearly Resident Evil 6. I mean, I know that people that knew better and were less biased than me weren't as excited about that game as I was. But it just looked, what I saw at E3, based on me actually liking Resident Evil 5, I thought 6 was going to be sick. And it fucking sucked dick and came in my mouth. And then slapped me and then was like, oh, fuck you, I don't even like you. And I was like, but you told me you loved me. And you're like, yeah, but I wanted to come. I was like, oh, okay. Well, see you later then, Resident Evil 6. But it clearly, I didn't even put anything else down. So then, hype failure. This actually only went to one thing. I couldn't think of anything that didn't live up to the hype more than Max Payne 3. Game fucking sucked. It was not a good game. Rockstar didn't get what Remedy was doing. Rockstar wanted to do what Rockstar does, and that's fine, but when those games came out, cover-based games didn't exist yet in the way that they do now, like third-person cover-based games. And that's not how you should have. They should have made this game more arcadey and less up its own ass, and just like they did the Rockstar thing where they're up their own ass when they make their games. It's not a bad thing necessarily, but that it did not work with this game. It did not play well. It didn't play good at all. It was this weird balance of like, yeah, you have bullet time, but don't ever use it because you'll get killed immediately, and use bullet time from cover, and hate playing this game. Every second you have it in, make sure you hate it, because like, hey, if that was your intention, good job, guys. I fucking hated it. It was not good. That game, like, it bums me out that Remedy didn't make the third one. But in the long run, I'm sure they're making another Alan Wake game. I hope they are. Because make an Alan Wake game and make me forget about the fact that Max Payne 3 sucked dick. And then obviously, worst game ever made, Comic Jumper. I'm not even going to dignify that game with much more of talking at all. I hate Twisted Pixel. I hate them. I hate them. It still makes me so mad how bad like, I'm so mad that game exists and that people liked it and gave. Oh, I'm not going to talk about it. Think those are the categories. So I'm gonna go ahead and get into my top 10 list. I guess I'll start by saying some things that didn't make it, just barely. Um, or just some games I guess I want to give an honorable mention to. I guess the Lollipop Chainsaw was on my top 10. It was on at one point in time, and I kept adding games, and it eventually got knocked off, not because it was a bad game, but just because I realized I liked some of these games more. It was a really, really good game. It was really funny. It was really well written, and it played really well. Once you realize it's not a Bayonetta clone, it's not a Devil May Cry clone, it's not a God of War clone. It had elements of like a flashy like brawler like that, but with its own pace, like the way they wanted you to do the combos. Once you got it and you realized it, it really made sense. It was a lot of fun, and it was also funny as hell. Like it had a sense of humor like very similar to like a Bullet Storm. Also, I just like Suda. I like everything Suda does, and the more he teams up with people that know how to make good games, but add his sensibility, I think that's the way to go. So that kind of just didn't quite make my list. Halo 4, I can't stress enough how much I liked the campaign and what they did with Cortana. If I had a category for like best character, it would be Cortana. Like what they did with her was outstanding. I loved it. The multiplayer just didn't hook me. Like I get what they were trying to do, and it wasn't even necessarily bad. It just I don't know. I live in a post Mass Effect 3 multiplayer world, and it's kind of like my flowchart is: are you going to play a multiplayer game? Yes or no. Is it better than Mass Effect 3's multiplayer? Yes or no. And if the answer is no, then the box says then go play Mass Effect 3's multiplayer. That's just kind of what it is. I preferred Reach. I preferred the way that Reach paced itself. Again, it's not bad. It's just it didn't suck me in. I got bored with it pretty quick. It felt competently made and stuff, but it was really the campaign that was there for me, and once that was over, sort of not much there to go back to, but I feel like it deserved being mentioned. PlayStation All-Stars, really, really like that. I like the Vita version a lot too. I like that it can be played with the PS3 handheld. I like the game. It plays well. I feel like Smash Brothers is that weird game that I know I love, and I just assume everybody else likes it, but I'm always surprised to hear that people either don't like it or don't get it. And so many people were ready to just call this a complete clone and say, well, if you like Smash, you're going to like this. And that's true in some ways, but they did a good job of setting themselves apart and adding a lot of the subtlety that makes it not feel like, yeah, you're just playing Smash, but with PlayStation characters. And I really appreciate that. It seems like they tried hard with that. Kind of a weird one, Gotham City Imposters. That game was fucking sick. I didn't get to play with anyone, like no one, I couldn't convince anyone to play it with me, but I really liked that game. And I really liked Monolith, and they worked on it. And like to me, that game was more of a sequel to Bad Company 2 than Battlefield 3 was. Like, and I know it's not traditionally a sequel. They're Bad Company and straight up Battlefield are different, but it felt like I was playing Bad Company 2, but with weird Batman-y stuff. Like, I fucking liked that game. It was a well-made game. I wish people would have given it more of a shot. Gravity Rush on the Vita. It was a good, very, very good game. I think that game more than any that's been released. I guess outside of PlayStation All-Stars, that game looks fucking good, by the way, for a handheld game. That other game looks fucking sick. That is a clean-ass looking game. But outside of, yeah, I'd say Gravity Rush is a really good, it makes a case for the types of games you can make on the Vita. It's fully open world, snappy frame rate, clean-looking graphics, just a nice game. I really like that game. I feel like a lot of people were a little extra harsh on that game. Yeah, the combat wasn't perfect, but it was a really good game. Let me see, what else didn't make my list that I felt? I guess those are probably the best honorable mentions. I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but so my top 10 list. Did I mention Jake's? Yeah, I mentioned Jake's stuff. At number 10, I haven't talked about this game at all yet, but it was a game I played really early in the year, and I really dug. It was Asura's Wrath. One of the few Capcom games where I knew that it wasn't a Capcom internal team working on it. It was like them publishing it, so I didn't have to be chased away by the Capcom Capcominess of it, outside of the weird DLC ending thing they did, which I can't justify, but it's Capcom, so you know that's going to exist somewhere. But that game was fucking sick. It was a really, really good game. It was parts of it were almost not a game at all, in that there was a lot of quick time events, and the combat sections were kind of like broken up in a. It's hard to describe if you haven't played it, but it wasn't like you were playing God of War and there was quick time events. Like it was more you're playing a game full of quick time events, and then occasionally you'd be doing regular fights, and it wasn't like you were fighting through levels. You were just beating up guys until you got to a certain point where you push the button and crazy shit starts happening. It was just like it was like a fucking chasing the dragon where you're just like, I need to keep playing so I want to see what the next crazy shit happens. I want to see, now I need to see what next. It was really good. It was a really good game. I dug it. And then the story was surprisingly well made. I don't know, I like Asura's Wrath a lot. I feel like a lot of people slept on that and they should check it out. My number 9, it's going to be really weird, Star Wars The Old Republic. I had never played a traditional MMO before. Going into it completely blind. So I know a lot of people were like, oh, WoW was doing this or that, or they're not even at the same spot WoW is now. They should have learned how to do this. I was going into it blind, so I can't speak from that. I enjoyed that game a lot. Me and my buddy Chad played a lot of that game together. Played with a couple of listeners. I thought it was a very fun game. I played it for, I don't know, a good 6 or 7 months until people just stopped, and it's kind of hard to play a game like that alone. So I eventually stopped. A lot of people see that game as a failure. I don't. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And I guess the only say the only thing that fell flat for me is that it probably would have just been a better game if they just made it like on consoles and you play with 4 people, or you like a Borderlands type thing. I don't know, I feel like that would have been a better way to go. But you know, with MMOs, people have been chasing WoW forever, and the game had been in development for too long, so I can't say what they should have done, but I feel like it probably would have been a better game if they just tried to make it like a Borderlands type game. But it was good. I really liked that game, so see that as silly, but I thought it was cool. Number 8, I spoke about this a little bit earlier, Diablo 3. I loved some Diablo 3. I played through it a lot. Again, some weird blowback from fans. Again, I think it's the people that are too into the game and they're playing through on hell for the millionth time, and they know every little like microsecond of what they're gonna do. And so to me, I was just playing the game, and I played it with friends and I had fun, and Battle.net worked great and the game was fun, and it changed a lot of stuff that you expect to see in a game like this, but I think almost all of the decisions are for the better. I think games, and what a lot of people said when Torchlight 1 came out is that more games should be like Torchlight 1, and I wish Torchlight 2 was more like Torchlight 1, but now that Diablo's come out, if these games are going to start being released, there are other people that want to make games like this. I think they should follow Diablo 3's lead and make them more like Diablo 3. I think it was just plain more fun and better made than the structure that they gave Torchlight 2. Number 7. I wanted to put this higher on my list, but I'm currently still playing it, and so I felt weird putting it any higher. I kind of feel like if I was making this list like 2 months from now, it would have broken the top 5, but Far Cry 3. I thought this game looked sick when I saw the E3 footage, and the more I saw of it, the more I thought it looked good. A lot of people seemed pessimistic for it for some reason. Then it came out and was getting great reviews, and I was excited because I almost bummed myself out about it, and then people started giving it good reviews. I was like, yes, great, let's play this. Fucking so good. It's everything I wanted Dishonored to be, except you're on a jungle and there's fucking dogs and tigers and pigs everywhere. It does stealth how stealth should be done in games. You can't say it, like you can't, when you play a game it just feels right, but the way this game handled anything to do with stealth and anything to do with the gunplay and the sneaking and the crafting and it's just a good fucking game. It's Skyrim but better, and not in fantasy. I know it sounds like it's saying a lot, and I didn't dislike Skyrim or anything. Like, I liked Skyrim. Like, it scratches the itch of an open world game or a Skyrim type game, but it does everything right. It's just, I don't know, it's a really fucking good game. So Far Cry 3, that was my number 7. Number 6, I mentioned this earlier, Binary Domain. People slept on this fucking game, I'm telling you. It is like Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect 3. Mass Effect just in general. The idea of Mass Effect mixed with like Vanquish, I guess you could say. It's a really cool game, and it's worth you playing through. It's a fun game. I would recommend anyone. I'm sure at this point it's probably dirt cheap, but if nothing else, go back and GameFly it. There's no games coming out now. Like you got till like January till like actual releases come out, unless you're still playing like COD Blops or something like that. But play Binary Domain. At least give it a shot, and wade through the beginning when they're trying to ham fist in all the voice stuff and some weird swimming stuff. It's a good game. It's a really good game. I really like that game. That was my number 6. Number 5, we're in the top 5, everybody, was Sleeping Dogs. I mentioned this earlier. It was one of the best open world games I've ever played. It does open world better than GTA, but that's not a surprise. I don't particularly like the way they handle those games, but it did it better than Saints Row, I think. And Saints Row made huge steps. So the idea that Sleeping Dogs made more strides, like took what Saints Row had done and kind of built on it, is saying a lot. So Sleeping Dogs, I really, really liked. Mass Effect 3 made it into my top 5. That was my number 4 game. Almost 90% of which is because of the multiplayer. Hands down, you go on my Raptor, I'm telling you, I've put, I think, upwards of 200 hours into that game, and it's all the multiplayer. I'm playing it like some people play Call of Duty or Halo. Like, that multiplayer is so fucking good. And the single player's fine, as long as I got a soapbox to stand on, by the way. The new ending, better than the old ending. Eat a dick, people who disagree. But yeah, Mass Effect 3 was a fine single-player game, an amazing multiplayer game. Just amazing. Getting to the top 3. My number 3 game, I haven't talked about a lot yet, Borderlands 2. I thought every single thing they changed in this game was for the better, pretty much. I liked, except for the opening. I think the opening was kind of weak. I remember feeling like at one point in time I was like, oh shit, do I not like Borderlands? But it's just, I feel like the opening area and the opening mission and just, like, until you get to Sanctuary, could be better. Just kind of feels a little too long and a little too aimless. I also didn't like, I'm dumb, but like the stability, like your gun shaking and stuff, kind of, it took it away from being like it felt gamey. Like in, you know, like Fallout 3 is technically a first-person shooter, but doesn't play like one. Borderlands played like a first-person shooter, and in the beginning of that game, when your stats still kind of are low, it doesn't feel like you never have any fucking ammo, and your gun's shaky and shit. Like, it was sort of frustrating, but like I looked past, as soon as I got past that, like, that game is, Borderlands 2 is dope. The DLC, both of them so far, very good, excellent, well worth their money. Mass Effect 3's DLCs, I thought Leviathan was good. I liked Leviathan, but $10 for how much I got out of it, a little steep. And then Omega for $15, fuck that. Omega was not. It was barely good. A couple things were sort of cool, but for $15, eat a dick. That's ridiculous. Go fuck yourself. Get fucked. It's insulting. Like, I was mad when I got to the point where I wanted to get my, there was an achievement in it. I wanted to run through it. I had to start from the beginning and go to almost the end. I was able to do that in 45 minutes. That's for $15 DLC. Fuck that. That's, especially when you look at the Borderlands 2 DLC. I got, I don't know, upwards 10, 15 hours out of it. Maybe a little less, but it also bleeds into the game so well that it works. I don't know. It was, Borderlands 2 is really good. It was really good. The DLC is really good. Everything about that game is good. I'm really excited to see where they go from here. Number 2. My number 2 and my number 1 games were, it was really hard to choose between the two. But I'd say they're separated by almost nothing. I could probably switch them and I'd still be happy, but I decided that I felt more comfortable when I put them in this order. So my number 2 game of the year was The Walking Dead. It was I had mentioned earlier, it's the only game I've ever played. I think that, like, you can get bummed out by a game. A game can make you sad. A game can, like, warrant an emotional response. But this game made me cry. I was sitting here at fucking Thanksgiving morning while I finished the rest of my, like, cooking, fucking crying as I beat that game. Like, almost all, like, a couple of the episodes lagged a tiny bit. There were really only two. I think two was in my opinion, the weakest one. And I think Jake said he didn't like three. I liked three a lot. So good. They're all really good. Everything. It's just a well-made game. Everything you do is cool. A couple weak spots, but they're made up for by all the amazing spots. And then as a whole, it's an amazing package. And again, a game that can make you fucking cry in the end when you see how things are going. Like that game was successful in telling a story. I loved Walking Dead. It was just a great game. I'm really excited to see what they do. I'm hoping they can. It happens a lot when you do something that people weren't sure is going to be good and then it blows up. I don't want them. I hope they don't Arkham City The Walking Dead. I know that no one agreed with me, but Arkham City was not a good game. It was not a better game than Batman Arkham Asylum. They made the wrong decisions in how that sequel was handled. I really hope The Walking Dead doesn't Arkham City themselves. I hope they remember what made these good and continue to do that. My number one game of the year, I think I've talked about it when I was talking about downloadables. Weird, both my top two were downloadables. I just realized that. I guess when I say it wasn't a great year for downloadables, more quantity than quality. But it was Dust, an Elysian Tale for the Xbox 360 Summer of Arcade. I can't say enough good things about this game. If you haven't played this game, you're fucking cheating yourself out. Like, this is an amazing game. It plays flawlessly. It's got a good length. It's got a good story. It is beautiful. I'm a sucker for gorgeous 2D games. This is a gorgeous 2D game. Great voice acting, great characters, great story, combat, gameplay mechanics. Everything about this game I loved. Everything. I'm not a guy who replays a game on a higher difficulty. Just like I've never been that guy. I did with this game just because I wanted to play it again. It's just when I think me and Jake had talked about Bayonetta, how it's like Platinum got how a game like that's supposed to control, and this I would say is the 2D equivalent of getting how to make the controls work. It's very fast paced, very treasure in the way that they do the fast-paced combat and the juggling and the combos and stuff. It's like Bayonetta type precision and speed and stuff, but in a 2D Castlevania-ish type breakdown of a world. Just fucking excellent. I can't stress enough how good this game is, and if you didn't play it, you really owe it to yourself to play this game. And that is my top 10. I'll run it down again real quick. Number 10 was Asura's Wrath. Number 9 was Star Wars The Old Republic. Number 8, Diablo 3. Number 7, Far Cry 3. Number 6, Binary Domain. Number 5, Sleeping Dogs. Number 4, Mass Effect 3. Number 3, Borderlands 2. Number 2, The Walking Dead. And number 1 was Dust. That's about it. Good lord, this thing was fucking long. I expected to make like a 20-minute video when I sat down. Anyone who sat through this, fucking, oh man, I feel like I'm patting myself on the back right now, expecting anyone to watch this, but I know a lot of VGS people were curious and interested, and so hopefully you heard some games maybe you didn't try out, you want to check out. Me and Jake still do Jim and Them. Remember to check out Jim and Them. It's live on Fridays at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm doing a comic, a web comic now. I'm sure all of you know this by now, but if you haven't checked it out, please check it out. I'm really proud of it. It's www.battlecreekne, like Nebraska, comic.com. It's pretty sick. So yeah, I hope you heard some games maybe you like and agree with. I hope maybe you heard some games you didn't give a chance to and want to try out now. I think that's it. So thanks for watching this long, shitty video. And for all you people, I promised, here it is. Here is me sucking an invisible dick.